I'm coming in loud and clear. Might hear me on the radio. Breaker, breaker, 19. Anybody got their ears on?
Hey guys, it's Eric, owner of Farpoint Farms here in the mountains of North Carolina. I figured it was time to film part 2 of the Waynesville Hamfest, and as in North Carolina here last weekend. And I wanted to do this before I start dispersing this amount, the homestead, and giving away some of this stuff to friends and family and such. But here's my haul. It's not particularly massive this year, but there was one cool thing and a bunch of smaller toys. I love playing with stuff like this. It was a very inexpensive trip, I can tell you that, which was nice. The first thing I want to show you is this. Well, wait a minute, before I do any of that, I want to say thanks to a couple people that came up and said hi. I got some pictures that I'll put up in the blog posting on the channel. But SW Elling, he's got a great webpage.com that handles a lot of shortwave stuff. We talked for a good long time. Got a picture of him I'll be posting up there. Nice guy. 556-223, you're dead to me for not coming over and shaking hands. You know, obviously you guys all recognize me, but I don't know who any of you are in the real world. I talk to you via email, but I never get to see your faces. So I didn't recognize you, but you recognized me and didn't even come over and say hi. That hurts right here, man. You got me in the breadbasket with that one. And of course, Heath Whittle, thanks for letting me know this existed. Heath, my wife, and myself all went out to lunch. Heath bought us lunch. Thank you, man. Such a great time getting to hang out with you know, fans of the channel or just friends, you know, new friends. Heath also took us to a couple of places in town. We went to Readiness Preparedness place, which was awesome. And man, if I had known that was a 2.5-hour drive from where I lived when we first moved up here, I'd probably have spent my life savings at that place. But we did buy some stuff. Really cool place. Be sure to check it out. I'll see if I can find a link for that, and I'll get it in there. And lastly, we went to Grumpy's Army Surplus, which was also a cool place. And I was turned on to the idea that there is a realistic or Radio Shack, like active antenna for shortwave, like a little portable unit. So I'm keeping an eye out for one of those now. But anyway, thanks to all of you and for the other people out there that didn't come over and shake my hands, that didn't email me to tell me they didn't come over to shake hands. Well, thanks anyway. I appreciate it. But let's get on to it. Here they are. The very first thing I picked up, I had one of these, and I got rid of it. This is a Radio Shack HTX 252 2-meter ham radio. The reason I got rid of the old one was the cord was just, it was obliterated. You know, it was like these things get all brittle and frayed. Well, the guy had just replaced the cord, like just gotten a new cabling for it, and really nicely done. The radio's in perfect shape, came with the top here, and just a really nice radio. One of Radio Shack's better outings into the ham radio. You know, they had the HTX 100, I think, which is their 10-meter. And I've owned one of these. I've never owned the 100. There was 2 of them at the fairgrounds, but I just didn't feel like picking those up. But anyway, I'll be putting that back in the collection over there where all the radios are, so that'll be something I play with again. I like these. Just familiar with the way they work, and just thought they were a decent radio for their time, and even now. Obviously no digital modes, but eh. The next thing, and I didn't realize it, but 741 owns one of these and did a great video on it. So I may or may not make a video of my own on this. I may just show it off just because. But this is the Realistic Pro 2021. I had a Realistic Pro 2000 with a slightly smaller unit than this, and I've been using it inside with that Tram 1411, I think it is, scanner antenna. Great little thing, but it died. It just stopped working. It would like still make static, and you could still occasionally hear something, but I couldn't program anything because the digital display went out on it. So it was time to get rid of that, but I replaced it with this, which is a much bigger unit. Definitely something that fits more in line with the inside of a house. And I'll make a video on it. Other than watching 741's video, I don't know a whole lot about them other than, you know, it's at the same era as the 2000, probably the same features and functions, maybe a little bit faster scan. We'll have to see. But nice, and going to be living permanently inside the house. I've still got the old Bearcat 16 channel out here that I listen to. That this one will be inside, kind of just scanning all the time. So that was a cool pickup. That was not expensive at all. And then you'll notice a lot of the stuff that I picked up here is very inexpensive. I'm going to tell you why that is. Here is a Uniden 510. I think, is it a Pro 510? Yeah, Pro 510 XL. Probably will make a video on this because these are kind of popular and they're good little radios. Very basic, volume squelch, you know. But they're good performers. They actually work really well. This one, you know, doesn't have any of the stuff that would come with it. It doesn't have the brackets, but it's in good shape. It functions. It was $5. So that one there, I'm going to make a video on. Below it, this is actually in my mailbox when I got home from Hamfest. This, thanks to my neighbor, John. John, you know who you are. This is a Messenger. Oh man, what year? 181? It's a 23 channel crystal controlled radio. The radio itself, I don't know, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. We'll play with it. I might even make a video on this one just because it's kind of such an ancient piece of history. The reason he sent this to me, or he put it in my mailbox, and thank you for that, is that I made the video about the Pace 121 that I have, or 144, I'm sorry. This is crystal controlled, so he said, hey, you got dead crystals in that, swap them out with this, and so I'll have a better working Pace 144. So thank you, man, I appreciate that, but that was pretty cool. That wasn't actually part of the Hamfest. And then we got these two right here, Maxton MCB30s. I will make a video on that because I've never covered this. Maxton is like one of the lesser known brands that also made radios back in the day, and I think they stopped sometime in the early 90s, maybe mid 90s. But not a bad radio. It takes the 5-pin DIN, which I believe is compatible with Realistics brand. In fact, Maxton made a lot of Realistic radios. You know, all Realistic stuff was rebranded. So it's probably not too dissimilar than some of the ones you'll find in the Realistic brand. Both mics, both radios, and you can see the person, this one's 7 watts out, clean audio. 5 watts out, clean audio. So someone's gone in there and checked them and cleaned them and tuned them up maybe or whatever, but they took the time to go through them. $5 a piece. So hey, why does a guy who has all kinds of sideband radios and fancy radios and expensive radios, why is he getting $5 radios? If you want the hobby to survive, and this isn't just for CB, but mostly for ham, if you want the hobby to survive, if you want it to go forward, this is a great way to do it. You got to invest a little, and not just time. It's not just saying, hey, you know, I'll spend an hour on the radio talking to younger folks. Give some radios away. When you find a $5 radio, like this Uniden, you know, that's a cool radio too. But here's 3 radios that was $15 of my money. I'm going to probably make a video on at least 2 of them. And then I'm going to pass those along to people who might be interested in getting into CB radio. Because once they get it, and maybe it's a simple thing, but maybe once they get the bug, well, then they'll go out and they'll save up and they'll get a bigger antenna, or they'll make one a base station with a power supply or whatever. So that's why I pick those up when I see them at Hamfest or yard sales or whatever. My wife always says, what's the magic number? And the magic number is $5 to $7. You know, if it's not a sideband radio and it's not a particularly, you know, memorable radio, there's the magic price. So I got those. This was kind of cool, sitting there for $3. I don't know if y'all are familiar with this, but this is a passive AM tunable antenna. This works, you can plug it in. It's a Radio Shack model, and this was 99 model. They made them up through, I think, 2004. But this sits next to an AM radio and increases the signal strength, and it's really cool how that works. I'll make a video on that, but it's tunable. And you can plug it in, you can get a little mono cable and plug it in, but most of the time you just lay it next to the radio and move it around some to get a better signal. Neat little piece of machinery. This one right here was cool. This was also $2, I think I paid for it. An AC line filter. So when you're trying to listen to like real faint signals, sometimes you get line noise. Obviously I'm running solar here at the house now. Occasionally I get some line noise. It's really not terribly bad as I was worried that it would be. But this is cool. I've heard of these. They actually do work fairly well. And so I'm going to try that probably on my shortwave radios to see if it helps reduce noise floor a little bit extra and maybe pick up those real faint signals. Lastly, before I move on to the big one, here's something you just didn't expect to find at a Hamfest, but something that we picked up. If you ever do any kind of shooting or anything like that, you know that these can be kind of hard to come by these days, and the price was actually really good. So my wife actually saw this sitting on the table and was like, hey, you know, you love to plink, wouldn't that be cool? And I was like, wow, that's a really good deal these days. So an old box, an old brick, but that's why you gotta go to Hamfest, because you just never know what you're gonna find. Lastly, the big purchase of the day, I have a lot of Realistic or Radio Shack shortwave radios. I had the DX100, which I actually just sold. I have the DX302, which I love. It's in my command center inside, and I listen to shortwave on it with that active loop antenna that I got for it. I love it. I listen to it nearly every night. And I just got the DX394 from a fan, and so I've been kind of playing with those. But here's the 160. If you're not familiar with it, I'll put a picture of it up here. And that picture is just showing you that it kind of looks like an old 70s or 80s stereo, like a stereo that you would have in your house when everything was the big console type stereos. But yeah, that's a fun one. I hope to play with that. Came in the original box, original manual and everything. definitely look forward to seeing a video on that. I think we're going to put that in the bedroom. That's where that's going to live. So we might get another one of those active loop antennas and hook it to that and see what we can hear out there. Anyway, I guess that'll do it for today. Obviously looking forward to some new video content here. And again, thanks to everyone that came over and introduced themselves, and obviously thanks to Heath for the great lunch and the great camaraderie. I will be at Shelby Fest in September. I'm not sure which day I'll be there, but I don't think I'm going to make it to Dalton, unfortunately. Or not, was it Dalton? I can't remember. Anyway, I will be at Shelby, but I don't know. There's a lot going on behind the scenes here on Farpoint, so trying to figure out when I'm going to be where or when I'm going to be where is a little difficult at this point. But stick around. These ham fests, if you've never been to one, you owe it to yourself to take the drive and go see one if you find one within a few hours, because they're a lot of fun and there's a lot of cool people there. Anyway, till next time, my friends, take care.